What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Make Your Own Luck Mondays. And again, this is a web series that I do here on YouTube where I take topics on personal finance, wealth creation, and investing and just try to break them down and make them as easy as possible to understand. So today's topic, we are going to talk about retirement. We're going to go through a retirement calculator and try to make sense of the numbers for you. When I typically chat with people about retirement accounts and saving for the future, there's a disconnect on how you get to these $1 million, $2 million marks versus what you can put aside right now. So when I tell people, hey, if you put a couple $100 away a month and you're 25, 30 years old, put a couple hundred away. By the time you're in your mid 60s and you're ready to retire, you'll be a millionaire. You'll have over $1 million. And there's a super disconnect as to how that actually happens. And I understand it because the math really doesn't make sense. If you were to take $250 a month and, at 25 and put it into this retirement account, you've only put in, a little over $100,000, maybe $150,000. So where's the million come from? The $1 million growth would come from two things. The interest over time in the market. So the average return of the S&P 500 is 9.8%. So you'd get that growth year over year. Sometimes it would be, down. Sometimes it would be double digit way up. But over time, historically, it's right around 10%. So you'd get that. Plus, you would also get the compound interest effect. So the compound interest effect is your money starting to grow and double. So again, if you put in $3,000 in year one, another $3,000 in year two, now you get $6,000, but then you get 10% growth, 10% growth, 10% growth. So over time, you keep putting in all the same amount of money, $250 a month for, till you're in your mid 60s, and it's grown, and then that's grown, and then that's grown. So you just keep getting this compounding effect of the money growing on top of the money, growing on top of the money. And by the time you're in your mid 60s, you can have $1 million very, very easily. And it's super, super achievable. So what I do want to do is make sure that I visually show you guys what that looks like. And there's a really good investment calculator on the Dave Ramsey site that's just clean and easy. So I'm going to run you guys through that right now so you can see it visually. All right, so what you're seeing right here is an investment in retirement calculator. And this one's from the Dave Ramsey site. And I like this one because it's very simple, it's clean, and it's easy to understand. And I'll run you through just a couple of scenarios to see how retirement works. And let's see here. Let's say you were, 25 years old. You're a little bit younger than I am, quite a bit younger than I am. You plan to retire at 67, which is, the age to get full benefits. How much have you saved so far? Zero, because you're just starting out. And what can you contribute monthly? We're going to say $250 a month. What will your return be? He's saying 12%. That's a little high. So we're going to say 9%. So as you see your results, if you put in $250 a month from now till age 67, you will retire with $1.4 million in retirement. So how does that work? And a lot of times people will ask me, wait, if I put $250 a month in for all this time, that's only, 100 grand, 150 grand. It's actually 126 grand. How it works is from growth, and it grows from two different situations. One is compound interest. The other one is your growth percentage in the market. And I'll explain that. So you've put in 126,000, 91% of the money you have when you retire is all growth over time. So how that works is from year one, you're going to put in 3 grand, and year two, you'll put in 3 grand, you'll put in 3 grand, you'll put in, this is 250 a month, 250 a month, 250 a month. But what happens is after the first year, your $3,000, you put another 3,000 in, you put another 3,000 in, you put another 3,000 in. But as you can see, these numbers are slowly going up because there is also a 9% return within the market. So that 9% is getting added on as well. So you keep adding, it keeps adding. So it's growing by 9, 10% every year. Some years it might go down, some years it might go up. But again, what you see is over time, you keep adding the $250 down here, but this growth keeps compounding and compounding and compounding. And by the time you're ready to retire, you got almost $1.5 million. So $250 a month can make a huge difference if you start, and even if you start late. Let's say you're a little bit more established and you're 30 years old and you somewhat have your shit together. You've put 10 grand in retirement from maybe an IRA, or you have a Roth account or something. And, you can do $500 a month, and we'll say the same rate of return because the average S&P over time is 9.8%. I don't know why he's saying 12%. That is high, but do the same numbers, calculate it out. Look over here. You have over $2 million and you started 5 years later. So it's never too late to start. And, 90% of the money you have when you retire is all growth. You've only put in 200 grand, and it was by putting in $500 a month, 500 a month, 500 a month. And then it just starts stacking and stacking and stacking. So that's a look at a retirement calculator and how that works. And I would check this one out. It's on the Dave Ramsey website. There's a lot of things I agree with Dave from a personal finance standpoint, and there's a lot of things I actually disagree with that he does, but his retirement calculator is super clean and super easy to use. So you can plug in some numbers here yourself and see where you want to be. What I would do is figure out a number of where you want to be at retirement age and try to figure out right around, 4 to 5% of whatever that number is, basically what you'd want to be taking off from a yearly standpoint. 4 or 5% of 2 million is what you'd want to take for annual income. So whatever you need to live on, you want to try to say, hey, if I could take 4% or 5% of this 2 million, that's what you should be using to live off of. And you most likely will never need to touch the principal, which is pretty cool. So that's a good look at it. And yeah, hopefully that helps out. That is a look at how easy it can be to become a millionaire. And not only that, I think there's, the idea of being 40, 50, 60 years old and broke is straight up scary to me. So if I can do anything to get people to start, especially if you're young, like if you can start in your 20s, this is a cakewalk. You can retire way before 65 and do the FIRE movement, the early retirement deal. But if you're in your 30s or you're in your 40s and you do not have any sort of retirement, that is a big problem. You are running out of time is what you are. You can always start late and start to build on something, but at the end of the day, if you're 40 and broke and you have no retirement, you have no ability or no ambition to start a retirement account, you are going to be working forever. That is just a fact. You will be working forever. Social Security, all those other things, who knows what that's going to look like when, myself or you are in retirement age. There is no guarantees of that. And Social Security is not much money per month. So you're going to have to figure out a way to supplement that. And I know for me, for where I'm at, I don't want to be grinding like that in my 60s and 70s. I want to work because I want to work. I want to do passion projects. I want to do more, content creation, and, who knows what that looks like in, 30 years or so. But that being said, I wanted to make sure that I walked you through that process so that you can start. And if you have any questions, hit me up. Let me know. I will help you out the best that I can and get you at least on the right path. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. So, if you want to talk to somebody for real and get going with, retirement and brokerage accounts and all that stuff, go see a financial advisor, go see a pro. They'll get you lined up. But you can always hit me up for questions on what I'm doing. But again, it's just my opinion. So hopefully that helps. And that's going to do it for us this week here on Make Your Own Luck Mondays. Thanks, guys.